almost 26 years since First Contact came out. What? How old does that make me? Welcome to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. Okay, so when I watched Star Trek First Contact, I gotta say, for me, other than Undiscovered Country, which is my favorite Star Trek First Contact is probably the best all-round Star Trek movie that's been made. It's definitely the best with Picard and that lot. It's a brilliant, proper action movie in lots of ways, but also we got to see the best villain from Stargate, the Borg. Now, I've got a couple of little fun facts about the movie on its 26th anniversary before I tell you what I really think about this brilliant movie.
It's the Enterprise!
First of all, Ronald D. Moore, who wrote it with Brannon Braga, actually wanted to do a movie with the Borg, but the producer, Rick Berman, wanted to do a time travel movie. So, like all great relationships, they brought their ideas together and they created Star Trek First Contact. But initially, they didn't want to go back to see Zefram Cochrane after World War III and to see the launch of the Phoenix. No, they wanted to go to the Renaissance period. What were they bloody thinking? But luckily, they realized that was the stupidest idea on the planet. Now, if this had been a odd-numbered Star Trek movie, you know all about the curse, I'm sure, then they probably would have gone back to the Renaissance period, and this would have been a very different movie. Jonathan Frakes actually directed this film. Now, Jonathan Frakes is a director I kind of get a little bit angry about. This movie is kind of the only one he's ever done that I don't hate. Jonathan Frakes also directed the Thunderbirds movie. How much of an idiot do you have to be to ruin a Thunderbirds movie? But if ever you watch it, oh, he did. Oh, he ruined it beautifully. But he did not ruin First Contact. But he was not actually the first choice director. He was third. They actually approached two other better-known directors who turned it down, and they went with Jonathan Frakes really because they wanted somebody that understood what Star Trek was and somebody that would love the project as much as everyone else did. Because, say whatever you like about Jonathan Frakes, he is a Star Trek fan. And I actually think he's matured as a director now. His work on Strange New Worlds has been fantastic, and let's hope his work on Star Trek Picard Series 3 is just as good. The Borg were redesigned for this movie. Now, before, when we'd seen the Borg, the implants were supposed to be something that was just attached. But at some point around this time, they decided to bring in the nanotechnology element to it. The Borg actually assimilates you from the inside out. There was a complete redesign of what the Borg looked like. It took 4 times longer to do the makeup, but they were designed to look like it is actually coming from within you. We saw that famous scene at the start of Star Trek First Contact where the comes out of his cheek and opens up. We saw this technology in a lot more detail in Voyager later on. This movie, though, also had one of the most dramatic scenes in probably any of the Star Trek movies. The Captain Ahab scene.
They assimilate entire worlds, and we fall back. Not again. The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.
Now, we all know that Patrick Stewart is a damn fine actor, but he really showed just how damn fine in that scene. But what Captain Picard also did in that movie? It showed how easy it is for the holodeck to become a really dangerous weapon. All you have to do is utter a couple of words. Computer, disable holodeck safety protocols. And then machine gun. I mean, Jesus Christ, how is that? You could say that by accident. Really, technology is dangerous as a holodeck. Should probably have some slightly more security measures. I mean, throw in a password or, like a retinal scan or fingerprint, anything. My phone has got more security measures than a holodeck. But I'm going to tell you about when I actually went to see Star Trek First Contact. So this was a pretty big deal when it was released. People were really excited about it. It was really pre-internet. There wasn't, YouTube channels and stuff talking about the movie before it came out. So when we went to see it, we did not know what the Enterprise looked like. And I actually went to a Trekathon. So they showed all of the Trek movies back to back, and then they showed Star Trek First Contact about 5 o'clock in the morning, really before anybody else had seen it, but on the day of its release. I have to admit, about 3 o'clock in the morning during the final frontier, I fell asleep. I did snore through God. Sorry. When we got to see First Contact and we got to see the first sweeping shot of the new Enterprise E, there was an actual audible gasp. Now, you've got to remember, I'm British. I was in a British cinema. An audible like that was just losing our freaking minds. Now, we were Trekkies. We were very invested in this movie. We'd had lots of fun during the night doing little quizzes between the movies and things. But we're still British. We still don't really show our emotion, particularly not in public. That audible gasp really said everything. This was an incredibly beautiful ship, and it's an incredibly beautiful shot. And the Enterprise E is probably my favorite of the bunch. Now, Star Trek First Contact for me is probably the most rounded of all the Star Trek movies. It doesn't really have any weak moments in it. Even though I never really understood why LaForge and Riker went aboard the Phoenix with Cochrane. Don't know why they did that, other than the fact that obviously in the movie they wanted them aboard. But I can use that from Cochrane. They say, well, we're coming. And they're like, why? I can fly the thing on my own. Why have we even put 3 seats in the damn thing? I never really got that. But other than that, it was just a beautifully made movie. This Borg Queen, first time we saw that, brilliant. The whole thing with Data.
I was tempted by her offer.
How long a time?
0.68 seconds, sir.
It's the most rounded movie out of all the Star Treks. There isn't any weak points in the movie. I'm really thinking the only film that comes close to it is probably The Wrath of Khan. Because even though Undiscovered Country is my favorite movie, and it's got some amazing bits in it, it's my favorite movie because it was the first Star Trek film I ever got to see at the cinema. It's probably got the best opening sequence, but the whole bit in the middle with the prison and Praxis is a bit weak. And obviously, Nemesis and 100% Insurrection have real massive weaknesses in them. First Contact just doesn't. There are no bits of this movie that you can say, oh, I'll just skip past that. Oh, I'll wander off and make a cup of tea now. The whole film is fast-paced, action-paced, and really a well-rounded story. But guys, get in the comments. Tell me what you think. What do you think of Star Trek First Contact? And can you believe it's 26 years old? 26? God, I'm not even doing the math on how old that makes me. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out. And if you enjoy the content, please consider hitting that join button and becoming a fully fledged SciTrekker, because that really supports the channel. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.